Well, you came back. Good. Thanks for joining me again. I'm really a nice guy. I know I want to get these points across. So, and I got to stick with the notes this time because I need to get you to actually do the lists. And then we'll go from there with it. So this is Tabula Rasa Layer 1. We're only on Layer 1, Part 2. Layer 1 and 2 of Tabula Rasa, or the clean slate, prepares you to apply concepts, trading concepts, not the individual trades. Understanding the flow of trading under control. Learn what it's like to be just getting used to trading from a totally different point of view. Totally as that observer, but not just saying you're an observer, feeling it, flowing with it, going with it at night, doing an actual structure that allows you to go into the market and experience these things. Then meet again the next night, that night, and we talk about them. We exchange ideas on it, and we say, what did this mean to us? What did this mean to us? And how can we get better, better, better all of the time? And then when we get into level 3 and up on Tabula Rasa, it's going to allow the process to develop into what I call market intuition. We can't go into that situation before we develop these points. It's going to take some time. Each of you is going to move at your own time. Some of you aren't going to have as much time to spend on it. I understand that. But as you work through it, and there's no need to pressure yourself, it'll come, just flow with it. Don't put yourself under a gun. Don't get yourself, this is a clean slate, a fresh start. Inject the freshness, that kind of feeling. There's no need to pressure yourself whatsoever. And we're as I say, it's a process of expansion. So here's where we begin with some ideas in the list that you need to do. And like I say, I'm just going to stick with what I've written down here. First of what's bubbled up with you so far. Make some notes, say this is bubbled up and this is bubbled up, and I have to address those situations. Really good. That's fabulous. It's not where we're digging something up and say, oh, I wish you hadn't talked about that. This is what we need to address, and then it's just a matter of washing it off, not simply by saying it's an error, but by offsetting it with executing the opposite in the program and building the structure that will safeguard you from those errors. And then pretty soon you'll see you won't be making those errors anymore. But we need at the beginning to build in sort of some safeguards so that you don't find yourself going there. And so that's the first thing that you're going to do. You're going to be putting the list down as to what has bubbled up so far. And again, you've gone back, I hope, and looked at the mistake family time and again, and you see what those common mistakes are. Of course, a few months down the road, you're going to say, how could I even be talking about something as basic as those mistakes? I understand that, but there's a point of departure, and even sometimes after you've traded 20, 30 years, you need to go back and you need to pull back and take a fresh look at things. And that's what we're doing right now, finding out what we keep and what we throw out, but not necessarily throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So here's the list and some things. Do you have anything right now, truthfully, do you have something that's built into your trading fabric that you feel is working for you? Okay, I mean, you're sitting there and you're saying, you know, I do have an edge there. And you're not lying to yourself. I do. I really am better than most people, I believe, there. Good, excellent. Write that down. See, I'm starting with positives. We're not dealing really with positives, negatives. We're dealing with situations of what we need to retain and what we need to discard. And then we need to build on that. If I have us going to level 3 and I have us going to the numbers at night, without doing this, are we really building off the foundation we want to build off of? Okay, and so by the time you've gone through this, just what we've done so far, believe me, is going to make an incredible difference in the way you look at things. And just thinking to yourself, what does tabula rasa mean? I mentioned it now probably 6,000 times. Certainly, I need that fresh start. And I can then see that it's eventually going to be where during the day I have fresh starts every trade I do, perhaps as you tighten your time frame and move to different traders' offices. So what do we need is that you're going to keep those situations that are working for you. Write those down on your list. What clearly is a clunker? All right? What these strategies or systems that you've tried, they just don't work. Now you say, well, they work for some other people. Who cares? Are they working for you? Does it really make any difference what they're doing for somebody else? We have to deal with if that system is working for you, if you're resonating with that situation. So if it's a situation, you've tried these things and they're just clunkers, and you're still finding them coming in, suddenly you see, oh, well, that's this system, and you're picking and choosing systems and things like that. Let's stop that. We can't do that. We have to have a tabula rasa, wash it all out, and then build back only which is proven to you that it works. Now, if you find when you're doing this that nothing is really working for you, super. I mean, really, isn't that about as good as it gets? Because then you're saying, I know I don't have an edge here. Great. Then that's what we're doing here. So you're not bringing debris in. Haven't you just done, I mean, you might say this is the worst. I've gone through this and I find out I'm not doing anything right. Isn't it about the best thing we've ever done? Hasn't tabula rasa just been about as good as it could be? Because you cleaned the slate. And now we're building back with exacting strategies. Some ideas. Do you have an exact routine every day? I didn't say how much time do you commit to it. We'll get on that in a second. Do you have an exact routine? You have to. Do you get up at the same time every day and to prepare for the market, and you look at it as the acid test, and are you excited about getting ready for the market? Is the first thing that's on your mind, how much money can I make today? Or, that's interesting. I see that. Can you do that? Yes. Because you've developed it the night before. And guess what? Sometimes you're like never wrong. Because you had it covered both ways. If the market does this, I'm automatically here. If it expands, I'm automatically going with it. That's the position you want to find yourself in when we only have potential trades and we're letting the profits run. That's what we do in the magical time, the very positive time. Every night, a specific time after the numbers go up on the website called tabula rasa. Do you have time for that safe time? I'm talking about, do you have time for 15, 20 minutes, an hour, depending on how many markets, how much time you're going to do this? You're going to need that block of time in the evening when you're just going to have to pull away. You're going to have to take the clean slate, look at the data, totally have it. How much did it take to remove what came in from the day? Don't overthink it. I'll talk more about that on the layer 2. Don't overthink what's happened. Don't do that. Don't carry that in. And then once, if you need to say a few things and still are analyzing productively, I would have done this and this and this and this, fine. But that shouldn't take that long. Don't overwork it. And then have that, you go to the beach, you do this and this and this and this, you do some things, you clear it out, and then you have that clean slate and you start building. That's what I need. That's the thing. And you need to do it every day. And if you don't have time to do it, you can't trade. Don't fudge it. Okay, so if you didn't have time and something happened, you're flat. That's how you do this. You don't get people say, well, I certainly can hold one car overnight, or this or this or this. No, you can't. If you don't have time for it, you got to get out. You got to have complete control, and nothing but that. So therefore, you just got to see your schedule and see if you're going to be able to do the homework every single night. And if you can't do it that night, and things do come up, I understand that, then you just don't trade. The markets, there's another bus. There is always another bus. As we'll talk a lot more about that. Are you committed to this exact schedule to the point where you're looking at it as a job? Remember we talked about that briefly on the mistake family. You've got to look at this as a career. Again, it doesn't have to be the full-time career. And it may very well, as obviously you're going to start, and it's just as well you don't probably, but as you expand and you build your confidence, you may say, yes, I see this situation and I can build this into a full-time trading career. On the other hand, if you put the pressure on yourself that it's where is your full-time career, are you going to be able to do the same tabula rasa that you're doing when you have a job? These are things you're going to work through, okay? But you just can't say, what is the crude going to do tomorrow? That is not enough. What is it going to do in your scheme of things? All right? How much time do I have to be there for the close of trading to put in an order? These are things that you're going to have to analyze. We're going to use stop close only orders during a set time frame. How do I do that? Those things of routine have to be set up. You have to start by saying, here's much time I can commit to the situation. Then see the input that we do in tabula rasa as we rebuild. We've cleansed it. Now we're building, starting as the point of departure, the pivotal numbers. We're doing this, and then the market is closed, and we're going for the next trading session. and you see the elegant flow that exists. But always, there shouldn't be stress, there shouldn't be pushing it yourself, or it should be a situation just flows. That's what I'm trying to get across. You don't have to start as a full-time career. Better you don't, probably. Also, we're going to talk on this, you'll hear me talk about this time and again, paper trading versus real trading. Paper trading is necessary to build in these concepts as a starting point, but you can't tell till you bet. It doesn't replace real trading. After a certain point, you can be a paper billionaire, but the fact is you're going to have to trade a mini contract of oats if necessary, and the money itself does not, that's not, you say, well, I got to have X amount of dollars. To do a certain market, you need to know the concepts. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. How much do I need to do this? You need, how much time are you giving it to it? I can't answer that question. How much time are you committing? And we're learning how to do this. You're going to carry it for life. All right? We don't need to hit the crude tomorrow or the S&P tomorrow. That will happen. It will occur naturally. What we need to do is get you in a position of seeing that you're learning it so that it's second nature. Therefore, when the quote unexpected occurs, something happens, you just flow with it. You don't freeze. That's what we need to do. So everything is tied to you and how it does. And this is a situation of energy management. Energy management is a key. You need an exact schedule every day, replicating control and a structure within the market laws. If you're not following the market laws like we talked about on the first part, you're going to fail. Luck is not going to bail you out. There are laws. And if you respect them, you will flow with the market, and the market will help you by saying, look, you kind of messed that up. Here's what you got to do. It gets that personal. It really does. So what's your commitment to begin with? And how are we going to make it routine? You list it, you write it down, where you stand now. Now. Not where you hope to be in 6 months. Tonight. Because tomorrow you're going to be in class again. And you're going to be looking at numbers. And you're going to be building for trades. So you need to work through this where you are now, not what you hope to be. This is what you can get out of the teaching now. You can always go back to the videos and get more and more out of them, especially as we go through the layers. But this is our point of departure. And we want to get through this right now so we don't have to go through it. I'm not going to go through it on layer 2. I just want to get through this. That's why I'm going to watch these and then see what we need to do. And if this takes us whatever time it takes us, let's just get through it now. And then we can get into layer 2 of Tabula Rasa. Okay, there's one sheet now. Still got lots more here. Some more ideas. Is your broker relationship working for you? These are the kind of things you've got to analyze right at the get-go. Okay, is that situation really working for me? If it's not, you're going to have to make a change. Do you know how to put in orders effortlessly? Do you really want me to sit here and we're going to use a stop-close only order? Look it up. Okay, I mean, you can do this. Learn how to put in orders. Can you do it effortlessly? Do you know the times that the markets trade? If I say we're doing this on pit trading because we need to have you in an exact time. I need you to be within a safe time and a closed time and an exact parameters, a window. So I'm going to start everybody at a situation of the pit hours. Okay? We'll follow electronic trading, but you're going to have this window so that I can have an opening and I can have a closing. And I can get you used to this tabula rasa theory. Now, if I know I will accomplish this, and then as you feel, we can move on to putting that window intraday. Okay? But that's the process that we're going through. If you're not quick on tabula rasa now, you're not accelerating the time frame by day trading is going to be a disaster. Okay, so we need to make sure we do this and we find the right niche. And speaking of niche, you need to find the markets, the place that you feel you flow with. Each market has its own personality. I could tell you a lot of stories about that from the old days. Soybean traders aren't necessarily corn traders. They know the collective consciousness of the market that they are with. And you may not, that doesn't mean you're standing, those days of standing there in the pit and knowing the people and the locals obviously are slightly different, aren't they? But every market has its unique personality. There's some markets that follow nighttime trading and the pivotal numbers very closely, and others that don't. There's a collective consciousness to each market. You have to find that blend between that market and what you resonating with that. And then you find those little niches. So maybe we have 10 markets that we follow, but 3 of them are the area that you feel real good about, and you paper trade them, and eventually you put in a mini contract. That's where I want you going. Just having the confidence of knowing and flowing with it and acid testing and bubbling up and then saying I did that wrong and getting better until your confidence level just soars. What other markets you're going to flow with? Do you have distractions? Are there certain distractions that you have during the day that where you just simply can't be the observer? It pulls you. You feel an energy pulling you away from the observer mode, and there you go. Well, you can say that, oh boy, I feel that coming, I'm away from where I should be, this isn't working. Correct that situation, or don't trade during that time, or find out what those personal situations or distractions could be when you feel yourself pulling away from being the observer or the executor. That's very obvious. I'm not right here. If you're not right, then you get out at market, there's another bus. Okay? That's what we have to keep replicating, the same situation. Is there something in your environment or the mechanics of trading that isn't flowing through smoothly? Handle it right now before we start building off of this, because we're going to be building rapidly. We're going to be adding a lot of stuff here. So, and there's no point. We get through this tonight, and you watch it again tomorrow. Whenever you feel completely confident, the more you comb through, the better. Great. But then we start building. Don't build on a shaky foundation, please. It's Tabula Rasa. It's time for the fresh start, not replicating errors. It's the concept, the process, and that builds into the edge, and then you truly do have an edge. All right. Going on with this, you watch the mistake family. What's bubbling up? All right. Identify the mistakes and then offset them. Mistake. Execute the opposite. I let losses run. I freeze. Always out on close if it's a loss. Okay, boom, boom. You see the concept. See, if I get you with concepts, then you can apply them into the market. You're not going to say, what do I do? My gosh, what do I do? You're going to know, now wait a minute, that did this and this and this and this. I'm uncertain. I don't have a strategy built for that, so I just say stop. Just say stop. Again, you see the mistake right now. Analyze what that is that you're constantly doing. I myself do not like starting Tabula Rasa at night with losses. I can't do it, all right? Are there other ways you can go about making money trading the market? Of course there are. But all I can teach you is what I feel, okay? What I see. And to me, I have to have Clunk draw this ruthlessly, okay? And then go in that night with, wow, all I've got to talk about is profits and potentials. That's me. I like to look at half full, not half empty. So the fact is, that's the kind of situation that I need. So I need to say, I can't hold a loss overnight. Or I can't deal with losses. I don't want to be that way. I have to then say, I'm getting out of them. I will never take a loss overnight. Okay, you build this. You say, I tend to put too many trades on here. Then, boom, you answer. Obviously, I'm going to start with one car. I'm not going to pyramid. You have to offset these with execute the opposite. That's the key here. Executing without downtime. Therefore, you are not, here we go, empowering the mistake. Now we're going to really see, we're still on a layer 1. Empowering the mistake. I'm going to give you an example. You think about it. You may be working really hard on a strategy. We'll even say, because mostly this is technical analysis. There is no fundamental analysis. So in this, it's 100% technical. But let's say that you have some ideas and you've read some things and you've really researched and you say this has to happen to the soybean market. Well, first of all, as we talked about, nothing has to happen. You're wrong right there. But it certainly could. And you may have some brilliant concepts. But the fact of the matter is that you developed this plan based on a lot of hard work, and you have been a success in many aspects of your life, and you say, well, I've just done this research and I've done this research and here's how it looks to me, and I'm going to go in with my money and back it up. Really, hey, great, that's the name of the game. But what happens is maybe your timing is a little bit off. Maybe you're not really savvy on timing, and therefore you don't hit the bullseye. Boom-o. Because we're dealing with incredibly tight margins, low margins on the trades, and we got to be right. You've got to hit the bullseye, okay? So therefore, you have a loss, okay? And you start thinking of the loss, and you say, well, you know, I didn't have it today, but beans are going up, or whatever, your gold's going up, or whatever it is. And then it doesn't, and it goes down a little more. And I'm not saying it's a killer and you've got a margin call. I'm saying it's just this situation. Well, pretty soon what you find yourself doing is you're giving energy to the loss. You're thinking about it. You have made you just simply can't do this for a couple of reasons. You are actually, when we get on the layers down the road, we're going to talk about this specifically. But here, the general idea of it is suffice. You can't empower the mistakes. You can't be spending time putting more life. You're going to end up thinking, what do I do with that? What do I do with that? Hey, we can get, sure, people start losing sleep and lose their health over these things. This is nuts. What are you doing? You don't empower the mistakes. You give them no spot at all. You just cut them right out. Because that's how this game works. They're not really a mistake. The timing wasn't there. You cut it out. You didn't make a mistake. You made a brilliant execution. Your timing was off, and you saw it, and you took action. And that's what you need to do. But in the meantime, you're getting where you miss good trades because you're thinking about the bad one. We've all been there. You're actually empowered, actually doing it. You're actually empowering and building a life out of this loss. And it's draining all your energy from all the other trades you could be doing. And of course it's draining your money, but it's draining this energy from all of the things you could be working on over here. It's not acceptable. It just can't happen. So you may have the best intentions in the world. You may have done the best work. Nobody's questioning the work you've put in this, but you're empowering a mistake. And we have to stop that right now. Don't take a loss overnight, it's the way I say it. There's always, especially now with the commission rates they are and stuff, you get back in. But you go into the clean slate and you wash it out, and you don't go in with the idea I want to replace that position. Can I do it tonight? That's not clean slate. Now I'm going to go a lot more on that, but I just feel led to say that right now. If you say, okay, I had this great plan, and you suck it up and you say it didn't work today, well, my gosh, you're trying to hit a bullseye. You take a small loss, but don't say, now tomorrow can I get in? You're not doing tabula rasa. If it comes up in the studies again, or in the studies for a first time here, great. But don't bring things into it. How far can you go? How much can you go with a clean slate? How much is it going to look like this? Or what are you bringing in? And you say, well, how will I know? Because it's going to bubble up. Because the next day, if you're saying, oh, I should have held that beans, it bubbled up, you didn't do it. It's so easy to see this. The market's going to tell you. You write it down. I'm thinking about beans. Are you going to do that? Are you going to write that down, or are you just going to sit there and say, am I making money? Are you going to write down, thinking of bean trade? That's what you got to do. Those are the lists I'm talking about. Those are the lists, because it's clear that you don't have tabula rasa. So we're going to take as much time as necessary to get you through that procedure where you just totally have a clean slate every night. And my gosh, are you going to be a good trader when you're there? Let's see here. Always executing the opposite. Don't give it life to the mistakes. I think you've got that. Well, another key, and then we're going to take the break, and then we're going to review. Let's leave with this. Go a different way. The market should trigger the thought in you at all times, one word: change. That's the word. Things are always changing. That's the facts. Are you? If you're rigid in a position and the market doesn't accept your current position, you're going to pay the price. That's the law, and there's no way around it. You better get used to constant flux and learn to embrace change. Love it, or you don't have an edge. And you better not trade. Embracing change. This has always been the case. But we're going to enter a period here, in my personal opinion, that is going to increase volatility way more than it's been now. Some people I see here talking about these volatile times. You should have been a broker in the 70s, 14 days in a row limit. Some days limit up and limit down in the same day. I've been there. This is nothing. So when I tell you that we're headed to periods of extraordinary volatility, if you fail to eloquently flow, is that the way I should put that? Eloquently flow with change, the result, if you don't do it, it's going to be startlingly apparent. Change. You can use it in your favor and blossom and embrace it, or you can just have it chew you up. But that's where we're at. Now, building your edge. Eloquently flowing with change. And what change means in the now. Do you think the 95% of traders that lose eloquently embrace change? I don't think so. Okay, here's what we need to do. I wasn't going to go that way. Let's see these things bubble up. I'm going to watch these first 2 videos on this, our first class. You work on your lists, and I'm going to see what I need to put on part 3, the final part of layer 1, and then we'll be ready to move into layer 2 right away, because we need to get there. So see you there. Review what we've discussed.